Hello, writers. Welcome to Pocket FM Writing Academy. Crafting great content is only half the battle. The real question is, how to improve the views on your audio series? It's simple. To gain a loyal following, you need to keep the episodes flowing and find a way to hook your listeners into your audio series. So, let's discuss how to improve the views on your audio series organically, as well as with the help of Pocket FM's Writer Analytics dashboard. Once your audio series is published on our platform, the easiest way to garner your first listeners would be to share it with your friends and family, as well as post about it on your social media. When your series is published, it appears in the New Arrivals section on the Pocket FM app. This will help you organically gain new listeners on Pocket FM. If you are regular with new episode updates and your listeners enjoy the story, they will likely keep listening to your audio series. This is the simplest way to acquire listeners for your audio series. In serialized storytelling, the real challenge writers face is to keep their listeners hooked to the story. Don't worry, we have 6 important tips for you to keep in mind. First impressions matter. If you want to improve your views, the opening episode must leave a strong impact on your listeners. The first few minutes are crucial in determining whether a listener sticks around or leaves midway. Remember to start in the middle of an action or intriguing situation that directly reveals the protagonist in a moment of crisis. This is a tried and tested technique of pulling your listeners into the story by piquing their curiosity. For example, in a romance audio series, an intense breakup scene could make the listeners curious about the story and character's journey. Creating a sense of mystery or intrigue by the end of the first chapter can also work wonders. For instance, a line like, "Why did Sonia leave the party in such a hurry?" encourages the listener to keep listening to find the answer. Remember, the first episode of your audio series should set the stage for the story. Introduce an intriguing plot and leave the audience wanting more. Finding the sweet spot, aka the optimal episode length. The length of your audio episodes plays a major role in keeping your audience hooked. If your episodes are too short, they might feel unsatisfying and incomplete. On the other hand, if it is too long, listeners may lose interest or find it challenging to stay committed to the story. In that case, what's the optimum length for an audio episode? On Pocket FM, the sweet spot for episode length tends to be between 11 and 15 minutes, which is roughly 2,000 to 2,500 words per episode. This gives the writer the opportunity to develop a scene or an important character moment without rushing it. It is also short enough to keep the pacing tight and the listeners focused. This makes the chapters binge-worthy, especially during their commute or leisure time when they can listen to multiple episodes in one go. While the optimum length of each episode is good to know, always prioritize the needs of your story. Sometimes, a longer episode works if it's packed with important developments, while shorter episodes can create great cliffhangers. Study your listener engagement. Once you have written 10 or more chapters of your audio series, your writer dashboard will activate the Writer Analytics section, which will help you understand how your listeners are engaging with it. It's like a treasure map for the writers on our platform, revealing which chapters your listeners enjoy and helping you fine-tune your audio series for maximum impact. The Writer Analytics section has 2 subsections, Overview and Engagement. The Overview section shows the overall performance of your audio series, while the Engagement section provides chapter-level insights on your listener engagement. Additionally, a Views tab will help you see the total number of times all listeners have played a particular episode. The percentage of daily active listeners in the Overview section will give you an idea of how frequently a listener engages with your audio series. The higher the percentage, the more listener engagement. We suggest you review the episodes in which you identify a steep drop in the valid listener percentage in the Engagement tab. These chapters may be why your listeners are not returning for the next episode or are losing interest in your story. Begin by reviewing the chapter's audio narration from a listener's perspective to identify any gaps and make changes to the published chapters directly in your writing pad by clicking on the Edit option. Once you have made the changes, the editorial team at Pocket FM will review and reject these changes within the next 24 to 48 working hours. As soon as these changes are approved, your listeners can enjoy the revamped version of the chapter. You can repeat this process for multiple chapters to ensure that you are catering to your listeners and helping improve the views on your audio series. Be consistent. Sometimes changes in the release schedule can impact listener engagement. If there are irregular gaps between releasing new audio episodes, your listeners might lose interest or forget to check for updates. To stay on track with publishing daily, use the Schedule Chapter feature on your writer pad. How do you schedule your chapters on Pocket FM? Watch our previous video about scheduling chapters to learn more. If you encounter technical issues during the scheduling process, contact the support team at writersupport@pocketfm.com immediately. Amp up your listener interaction game. Don't underestimate the power of engaging with your audience outside the story. Many listeners love feeling like they are part of a community, especially when they have a personal connection to the author of serialized fiction. Encourage your listeners to leave comments on the audio series and try to be welcome towards reviews, criticism, or suggestions. This will show that you value their opinions and wish to write a story for them to engage with. Simultaneously, if you prefer to promote your work on social media, try to spark a discussion about your story among the listeners in comments or on your social media. For example, what do the listeners think of the characters? What do they think will happen next? Building momentum with pacing. Pacing plays a huge role in how engaged your audience will remain. Too slow, and they might lose interest. Too fast, and they won't have time to connect with the story. Try to alternate between fast-paced, action-packed scenes and slower, introspective moments. This variety in rhythm will keep your audience on their toes without tiring them out or losing their attention. For example, think of a thriller audio series where the episode ends with the protagonist receiving an anonymous letter saying, "I know what you did in the cabin in the woods." This creates immediate tension and makes the listener want to tune in next time. Improving the views on your Pocket FM audio series comes down to keeping your listeners engaged, from the moment they press play on your first episode to the finale. It's all about a delicate balance between pacing, episode length, and the fine elements that make your story unique. Remember, each new episode must generate interest and curiosity in your audience, leaving them wanting for more. Thank you for watching this video. Like, share, and comment to stay in the loop on the upcoming videos.